Hello, ladies. How are you? Hi, Lori, Copper. Hello. Who else is here? Madda, yay. Copper, Suzanne. Hello, ladies. It's so good to be together again. How was your week? What did you do? Did you do any sewing? Let's see. Let's check it out. Myra. Hello, Myra. How are you? So glad you're here. And Sharon is here. Hello, Sharon. How are you? Awesome. I am excited to be here with you again this Friday evening. I think we're going to have some fun and we're going to learn a few things. I just love being here with you. Love it. We're going to have Q&A at the end. We're going to go over the quilt that you saw in the countdown. We're going to look at it, how it was quilted from beginning to end. So get your paper and pen ready to write down some tips. I'm so glad you're here. Who else is here? Who did I miss? Did I miss anyone? I got Sharon, Suzanne, Copper, Lori, Myra. Awesome. Just love it. Love it. Yes, Lori, you finally made it. I'm so glad that you could be here with us at the same time. It's nice to be here live. It's good to be able to watch the recording when you can't be here, so I'm glad you do that. Oh, great. I'm so glad you were determined not to miss. Yay. You like the hearts, Suzanne? Isn't that fun? Have you heard of the challenge hosted by Persimmon's Dream? No, I haven't heard about that. Copper, yay, you set your alarm. That's good. That's good. I want to try something. Many of you have watched my videos and you've picked up some tips and you know a little bit about some of the things that I like to use for tools. So how many of you remember the game or the TV show game Jeopardy? If you remember Jeopardy, let me know in the chat. Say yes, I remember Jeopardy. Yeah, Lori. Soon we'll be able to get together. Hopefully, I think a letter went out today about email newsletter that perhaps the library is going to open soon. Myra remembers Jeopardy. Lori remembers Jeopardy. Wonderful. No, you're not missing it. Every live session is live. It's recorded, and then people who miss the live can come back and watch it. So, Copper, yes, we are live now. All right, so we are going to play Quilt Jeopardy. So here we go. Are you ready? You're going to have to let me know what question you want and for how much. Machine quilting is the category, number 1. Number 2 is machine quilt tools. Number 3 is quilting tips. These would be quilting tips that I've shared with you in my videos or if you've taken a class with me. And number 3 is Living Water Quilter YouTube. Things that I've shared in videos. Okay, so far Copper says quilting tips for 100. We'll do this as a trial run. So I'll do quilting tips for 100. No thread nest. Let me get myself out of the way here. No thread nest. What is the quilting tip that I've shared so that you don't get a thread nest? Who knows the answer for that? Anyone know that answer? Should I share the answer? Quilting tips for 100. What have I shared about not to get a thread nest? What is good tension? This is... What is good tension? No. Pull the bobbin up. Yes, that is the answer. What is bring your bobbin thread to the top and lock thread with 2 or 3 stitches in place? All right. Copper got it too. Awesome. All right. Who wants to pick another one? Machine quilt tools, machine quilting. Who has another one? Good job, Copper and Pew Lady. Awesome. Let's pick another one. Hello, Dainty Diva. Thank you for being here. Machine quilting quilt tools for 100? Machine quilt tools for 100. Okay, here we go. What is... It's curved metal sharp. It's a quilting tool that we use that's curved metal and sharp. Who knows the answer for that? Curved metal and sharp. Anyone know? Lori, that's a good guess. Maybe the words are not too accurate. This is my first time trying this. So, scissors, that could be an answer too, Copper. No. Let's see. Rotary cutter. What is a stiletto? Okay. Rotary cutter. Boy, so many of you said rotary cutter, and maybe that's the correct answer. But all the answers are based on machine quilting and ruler quilting. Not so much piecing a quilt. So maybe I'll change the answer for this one. I will give you the answer. What are basting pins? Curved, metal, and sharp. Maybe I need to improve that one. What is a seam ripper? Yes, those are all good answers. Maybe I need to incorporate those. All right, let's do one more. Lori, it's funny. Yeah. One more question. You're picking all the 100s. Let's go harder. YouTube for 200. Okay, let's do YouTube for 200. Videos less than 1 minute. What on my YouTube channel is a video that's less than 1 minute? Who knows the answer for this one? My YouTube channel. If you've been to my playlist, you might know what this is. All of these videos are less than 1 minute. What type of video is it? What is previews to chat? No, that's not it. It's a playlist on my YouTube channel. Any other responses? Anybody else? What is previews? Nope, that's not it. Do you give up? Do you give up? Should I reveal the answer? Quick tips. All right. That's it. What are machine quilting tips? So if you didn't know the answer, go to my YouTube channel playlist, and there are machine quilting tips that are 1 minute or less in length. All right, that was fun. We will stop with that and move on to the main part of our time together, and that is to look at this quilt here. We're going to look at how I quilted this star quilt. What was the quilting plan? What tools did I use? And we're going to start with a clean slate. We've stitched our quilt, and now it's pieced, and we look at it and we say, oh no, how am I going to quilt this? How am I going to quilt this? What ideas do you have? How would you quilt it? If you were here last time or you watched the last live session, I've talked about what is the first thing that I do to prepare a quilt. After it's pieced and it's sandwiched together, what's the first thing we have to do? Thank you, Lori. Thank you. I'm glad you like it. Thanks, Copper. Thanks, Sharon. So isn't it interesting to see this quilt now without any of the stitching, just a blank canvas? Stitch in a ditch around the star. Okay, Lori, that's a good option. Yes, that's a good option. What's another way or term that I used if you watched the last couple of live sessions? How do I start quilting a quilt? How do I recommend you start? Anyone else? Let's see. Stitch in a ditch, figuring out the quilting thread color. Yeah, that is something to consider. Absolutely. Do we want a blending thread or a contrasting thread? Is it a thread that I can use all over the whole quilt? Do I have to choose multiple threads? That is a very good question. Echo Star. Echo Star, that's another good option. Yep. Stitch in the ditch, Echo Star. The stitching part starts with stabilizing the quilt. Once we have decided how we're going to quilt it, we need to stabilize it. And if we have a plan like doing an echo around the star or a stitch in the ditch around the star, that would be our first step to stabilizing. So both of those are very good options. Determining the path of quilting. Yes, spray base the quilt. We do need to do that, absolutely. Spray based, I prefer not to use pins because they just get in the way, especially with ruler quilting. Now, have you thought about, do you start in the center? Do you start on a lower right? Do you start at the top? Where do you usually start quilting? It all depends on what design you are going to use. And if you're going to use different techniques. Is it going to be ruler quilting, walking foot quilting, or free motion quilting, or a combination of the three? In this instance, my basting was done with ruler quilting. I'm going to move to the next slide. Here is the start of this quilt design for this quilt. Lori and Copper both had it right. There was some echo quilting and some stitch in a ditch around the star. This is the beginning. Perfect, 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 perfect. But which came first? Did the center quilting come first, or did the outside quilting come first? This is ruler quilting to stabilize the quilt, and also the stabilization. If you remember, I said that when we stabilize, we're also creating borders and boundaries for free motion quilting. So this not only stabilized the quilt, it also gave borders and boundaries for free motion quilting. So Sharon, you think it's pretty just like that? And that is an option. It all depends on the purpose of the quilt and your own personal taste, how much you quilt it. In this particular case, where the flowers are in the border, that has not been quilted yet. It would need some additional quilting. Okay, Sharon, Copper agrees. She likes it just like that. And so that is an option. You can get to this point and say, I'm done, and then move on to your next project. Oh, I'm sorry, Sharon, you said echo. Well, thank you. It was Sharon who said echo. Thank you for clarifying that, Copper. I appreciate that. Okay, so now, what rulers were used for this? Now, I used westerly rulers. Here I show you the two rulers that I use. Well, actually it's three. I use a straight edge, a circle ruler, and then a ruler that's called a spin and echo. That central design is with a spin and echo template. I don't have a video now on my YouTube channel for this particular design. However, there is a star pattern that uses the same ruler technique where you quilt it by spinning the template and you're able to make echoes of that shape. So the video on YouTube is an echoed star, but it's the same technique. Now let's move to what that ruler looks like. This is the ruler that made the design in the center with 1/2-inch echoes. That's another variable you might want to consider. Do you want 1/4-inch echoes, 1/2-inch echoes, or 1-inch echoes? If the echoes were wider, the space would fill up faster, and you can decide you're done. You don't need to fill in any free motion quilting. Isn't that amazing? Okay, I'm glad you're back, Suzanne. Sorry that you lost the internet. Okay, so any questions about this template? Watch the video for the star. Remember, it's the same principle. It just makes a star instead of this spider-like shape. It's made with a ruler foot. Yes, it's a westerly template. They're called spin and echo template. I put the information for all the things that I'm sharing today in the description box below the video on YouTube. So if you're on Facebook and you want to know where to get these different templates or other things I talk about, always come to YouTube and click into the description box below the video. Okay, so creative. Yeah, Westerly templates are amazing. And what happens with many of the tools for ruler quilting and free motion quilting, whether it's a stencil or a ruler, we often don't know how to put it in the quilt. So that's why I like to share the process for how I quilt these particular projects so that you can see how to take something from practice to an actual quilt. So creative, how do you keep the thumbtack? Good question, Lori. It should stay in place with no problem, but usually I hold my hand next to it so that it doesn't come out, or you can put a piece of tape underneath, like painter's tape will hold it in place underneath. Since you're not stitching by there, you're not going to stitch into the tape. You're welcome, Sharon. My pleasure. You're welcome, Copper. My pleasure. Okay, now I want to show you, this is the Circles on Quilts template that made the circle on the outside of the spider central design and an echo as well. I love this template set. If you ever decide to get the larger circles, this type of template makes it easy on a domestic machine. And get the 4-piece set. Always get the 4-piece set. It's better value, and you get circles from 2 inches in 1/4 inch increments all the way up to 12 inches. Positioning. Okay. Positioning. I could not figure it out, but I see the hole for the tack now. Okay. Yes, there is a tack. There's a hole right there at the base of the template, and then there's a thumbtack, and you put that right in. Watch my short video on how to quilt using this template. Can you put a rubber eraser? Yeah, some people have put that on top. Sure. On top of the thumbtack so you don't prick yourself. Great. Great idea in the tape. All right. Wonderful. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. So you've seen 2 templates. Let's go back to the final quilt. So now you've seen the process of stabilizing the quilt by using echo and stitching a ditch around the star. You've also saw how the design in the center with the spinning echo created a beautiful medallion design, and the texture of the free motion quilting really stands out. Do you see the additional echo quilting for the star to help the star points stand out? Yeah, I love this template. Let's get you up here. That's much better. It's a wonderful series, the Spin and Echo. Take a look at them. Thank you, Copper. Now, regarding the quilting that's now inside, it's basically one design that's similar to the free motion video that I have called Plumes. It's a filler design. And basically, you're making small feather plumes and then you echo. Small feather plumes and then you echo around it. Small feather plumes, then you echo around. Did you also notice in the circle around the center medallion, there are small circles? Yeah, both templates are pretty awesome. Yeah, Copper. Say that 3 times fast. So funny. So these little details, there was an echo of circles, 2 circles, right? Around the edge of that center design. And I put small 1/2-inch circles. And I didn't do that freehand. I used a ruler. There's a simple circle set that you can get that can give you perfect 1/2-inch circles. What do you ladies think about the section in the center that is not quilted? The section where it looks like a wedge. Yeah, sometimes when we look at a project in each stage, just like when you saw in the very beginning, when you said, well, that was enough quilting, you could just stop there. That is true. But sometimes if we go the next step, or we think something is missing that could be added to help make it have more texture, go the next step and see what happens. You like the unquilted wedge. Okay, yeah. I debated whether or not I would fill that in or leave it alone. I think it helps the design. I agree with you, Lori. It makes it pop more. Yeah. The unquilted wedge. Yep. No, I didn't add anything more into those wedges. I left it as is. I was tempted to add something, but I didn't know what to add. I thought it would take away from the center medallion. But I guess, if anything, what do you ladies think? I could add an echo of that wedge shape. That might give it more definition. That's a possibility. Yes, I probably did use wool batting. I should take better notes on what batting I use for each project, but sometimes I forget. Lovely as is. But it's good to talk out these possibilities. Also notice, ladies, that the piecing of the star was completely ignored when putting this design on the star. We can ignore the piecing and focus on the quilting. The quilting for this quilt is the star. Not the star itself, but it's the main attraction is the quilting, not the piecing. And the background, for all the background around the star, I quilted each flower using the shape of the flower to guide me in free motion quilting. That's how, so it's 3 different thread colors, blue, yellow, and cream. So I stitched one color, changed out my thread, stitched the next one. Yeah, that actually helps sometimes too. Yes, Sharon, that is so true. I'm going to switch out. Okay. Bring this down here. Figuring out how to quilt is always a challenge. Sometimes I can stare and stare and stare at a quilt and say, please talk to me. How do you want to be quilted? And when we have pressure and we need to do it because it's a gift or it's for some quilt challenge or something like that, and we need to quilt it, that's when the pressure is on. But when you don't have pressure, sometimes not quilting something until you develop a skill is okay. But in the meantime, we need to practice, practice, practice. Yes, that is true. It's hard, and that's why I'm hoping that these Friday live sessions where I show you how I quilted it will help you start seeing how you can possibly quilt your projects. I hate it when my quilt doesn't answer back too. Talk to me, talk to me. Ah, funny. You ladies are so much fun. Thank you for joining me today. We're having fun. Okay, I think now we're going to go back to Jeopardy. All right, let's try another Jeopardy question. Okay, Laura, you're using a stencil with a pounce pad right now. Yeah, you use whatever tools you you need to get the quilt done. I like that. Yes, I agree with that, Sharon. Sometimes I need to walk away for a while too, and then it will come to me. But you know, ladies, maybe if you say yes, I will share with you a couple of quilts that I did some research on. They had a particular theme, and so I Googled the topic and I said, well, what is the design typical for this holiday or for this culture or this celebration? What designs do we generally see? Like many um, summer themed quilts, someone might think, blue sky, beaches, shells, all kinds of things that could be quilted. Yes. All right. Research. Research is a good idea. There's a quilt that I did where I did some research on a particular culture that helped me pick the background for the quilting. Sun rays. Excellent. Excellent. There you go. See, you're getting ideas. Okay. Now, are you ladies ready for another round? Did someone give me a Jeopardy question? Anyone else? No? All right. Well, then I'm going to move on. We can come back to that. Can't help but hear Jeopardy music. That is true. All right. Machine quilting for 100. Okay, here we go. What machine quilting foot accessory do we need? Machine quilting. Machine quilting foot accessory. Ruler foot. That is an answer. Ruler foot. Wow, you ladies are amazing. Ruler foot, machine quilting accessory foot. Now, when there are multiple answers, I'm going to have to change this. What is a ruler foot? Okay, that is the answer. My question is incorrect. What is a free motion foot? I'm going to have to change. Great, Copper. Yes. Yes. Open toe. Free motion. Yes. Both are correct. Awesome. Both are correct. Okay, let's go to, I think someone said machine quilting for 300. Sticky bonding agent. Machine quilting, a sticky bonding agent. Yeah, it's okay. That's true, Lori. You know Jeopardy. It has to be in the form of a question. Copper, what is basting spray? All right. Yes. Awesome. That's also correct. Awesome, awesome. And then someone said machine quilting for 300. Did I do that one yet? But let's see. What was the other one? Quilting tips for 300. Quilters and turtles. Now, this has to do with a tip that I have given in a video or in a class that you've taken with me. It's a tip that I've given you about machine quilting that relates to quilters and turtles. Something we have in common. What do quilters and turtles have in common? This might be really hard. That's why it's 300 points. I hope you're keeping score. Sharon! What is slow and steady? Woohoo! Wins the endurance race. Win the endurance. The same thing, slow and steady. The endurance race, it's endurance race, not a speed race. Slow and steady wins. Awesome, Lori. Yes. Yay. Wonderful. All right. Thanks for playing, ladies. That was fun. That was fun. That was fun. Okay, last thing I'm wondering, is there anyone here? I never know who's watching, and sometimes some of the things that I share, some people may not know. So I wanted to just quickly just show what a ruler foot is, okay? This is a ruler foot. What's important about this is that it has that 1/2 inch diameter and that high collar. This is a westerly foot. And it's for my high shank machine, a Janome high shank machine, so that it can go across the template very easily and underneath my foot, the needle bar. So it must be a 1/2 inch in diameter. Now a lot of sewing machine manufacturers make their own, but if your machine manufacturer does not make a ruler foot, you can get a westerly foot for most machines. I love this foot. It's height adjustable. And this is my 12-inch arc template. It's one I can't live without. I love this template. If you don't have it, I recommend you get this template. It's so versatile. Okay. Slow stitcher. Yep, that's good. Slow and steady wins. There's no need to race. We end up having to take stitches out if we go too fast. Now, the other foot that I wanted to show you that's my favorite foot is this Janome convertible foot. It's an open toe foot. It's the one that you see in my videos. I love this foot. I prefer the foot not to hop, but to glide over the surface of the quilt. I like the open toe so that I can stitch complex designs that require me to be able to close the stitching. And then you see the wheel there at the top. This wheel, when I turn it, changes the height of the foot. This section gets bigger and smaller, which lowers or raises the foot according to the batting thickness. So I love that about this foot. It's the Janome convertible foot, and it's convertible because this section right here is removable. You can remove this section and add different attachments. That's a good question, Copper. We always like to support our local quilt shops. If you don't have one near you, you can visit either sewsteady.com, or I now have a Amazon influencer shop, a Living Water Quilter shop, which I'll share with you. So it's really up to you. The shop itself, let me go there. Hold on just a minute. I'm going to switch this out to... This is my Living Water Quilter page on Amazon. You see Amazon at the top. They have given me a page on Amazon to share with you the tools that I like and use for quilting. So the first thing that you'll see is the series of projects. And for each project, you click on the photo and then it takes you to a description and then all the tools that I used in the project. Okay, all that, open that. Okay, so you can go through various projects. Oops, go back. One more. To see some of the tools that I use for these particular projects. There's a couple of videos. Yeah, that is very cool, Copper. Yep. Diana, I've heard that it can fit on some machines. The convertible foot comes in a low shank and a high shank configuration. And I think I've heard, I'd have to double check, and then when I do, I'll leave a comment in the video description box. But I think you can use a Janome foot on other machines. So going back to the Living Water Quilter Amazon page. This allows me to group together all in one location a list according to the topic of tools that I like to use and recommend. And because it is Amazon, it is an affiliate. I get a small commission if you make a purchase. Doesn't cost you anything, but all the free motion tools that I like and use. So I'll click on that. And it shows you the marking tools. I like to use plexiglass. I use the whiteboard, when I'm practicing free motion. There's the convertible foot I talked about. The gloves, the needles, all these different things. I use a magnifying glass because my eyes are not as good as they used to be. And so when I check the tension, I look at the stitch quality, I use a lighted magnifying glass. So that's an example. Whoops, go back. Okay, there we go. I'll close that. So there's the free motion quilting, sewing tools, lighting and camera stuff that I use. There's all the ruler quilting tools that I like. I like to make bags. I'm not very good at it, but I'm getting better. All kinds of things that I've made all these different lists that if you like I make rope baskets. I love making rope baskets. Lighting, quilt care, storage. So take an opportunity to look at it. Again, it is in the description box below the video on YouTube. Okay? All right, so now we have some time for Q&A. Any additional questions? Can you show how to find that on Amazon again? Oh, okay. Sorry, Copper. Let me do that. Didn't realize. Okay. It is in the description box below, and it's Amazon. Let's see. If you click on show more underneath the video, if you're on a laptop, if you're on a mobile device, there's this little triangle just below the video on the right-hand side. If you tap that, it should show the description box. And once you tap that, you will see a link. And it says Living Water Quilter's Amazon affiliate shop. Did that help you, Copper? Okay. All right, ladies. So is there anything that I haven't shared? Oh, there's one last thing. If you were here for the previous lives, I talked about my Spoonflower Shop where I have designs that I've put up for... Okay, great. I'm glad you found it, Copper. I've designed quilt panels for practice, to make tote bags, to make pillows, to make project bags. Spoonflower is having 50% off on all their fat quarters, whether it's my design or any design. All their fat quarters this week are 50% off, and today's the last day. So if you want that information, that's also in the description box below the video. Here is the quilt panel. It's part of one of the videos that I shot earlier in the circle series. This is the 3/4 base design that you'll find on the YouTube channel on how to make these beautiful wedges and loops. Hey, Rhonda, how are you? I'm so glad you could come. Is it on Prime? I think so. I don't think it excludes anything, but I'm not sure. You'd have to check. I will look into it, and if I find that it's not, I'll leave a comment. But I believe that it's open to anyone. I hope. You should be able to find it. Okay. Any other question? Is there a trick? Okay. To not wander off the ruler while quilting. That's a good question. And part of it is mainly it's practice. Every ruler has a different technique. And what I always recommend is light pressure down and light pressure pushing the ruler against the foot. So as long as you're pushing gently toward the foot, you should feel the foot against the template. So it's light pressure down. If you press down too hard, you create more friction, and then it's hard to move the quilt. So it's light pressure down and light pressure toward the ruler foot so that the ruler maintains contact with the foot. Right, that's true, Rhonda. The postage is too high. That is so true. Lots of concentration. That is true. Sometimes our mind starts to wander, we're not paying attention. And I've done that a million times, and that's when we bring out our good friend, the seam ripper. Okay. Sharon, I'm so glad. You're welcome for all the information. It's my pleasure. I hope you get to watch more of the videos and I want to see some of the things that you ladies quilt. Okay, any other questions? We are almost at an hour. Thank you for hanging out with me for so long, giving me so much of your time. Appreciate that. Definitely want to throw some love your way, and thank you for throwing some love back to me. Appreciate that. You guys are awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love being here with you every Friday. Please come back. Yes, Lori, I'm so glad you could come. I'm glad you were able to join. Yay. Marlene, is the Supreme slider on my link? Yes, it is. Just click on either Free Motion Quilting Tools or Ruler Quilting Tools on the Amazon shop. You'll find it. You love the glasses. Yes. I love being here with you. It's been a busy week for me. I don't know about you, but Fridays is just a great way with you to end the week. I love the glasses. Isn't it fun? You're welcome. Yes, good reminder. Ladies, practice. The design that I shared today, it won't happen without practice. And if you start learning how to plan your quilting, do it the same way on a fat quarter. Start with that center design in today's example, work your way out, create borders and frames, and then fill in the quilting. Practice, practice, practice. Oh, great. Awesome. That's multitasking. That's what women do. We are good multitaskers. Magic heart glasses to figure out what to quilt. Wonderful. Yay. Awesome. I'm going to put up 2 more larger panels, but Spoonflower was in the middle of moving, and for some reason I haven't received my order yet. It should have been live already. But when they go live, I'll put them up and let everyone know. Any more questions before I sign off? Any more questions? Any requests? Anything that you would like me to feature on a Friday? Anything that you would like me to feature on a Friday? Have a great weekend, Copper. Wonderful. So glad you could be here. Thanks for putting on your alarm so you wouldn't forget. Okay, well then next week we're going to look at another quilt, do the same thing. We're going to break it down. We're going to share some more tools. We're going to also have another Q&A time. Have a wonderful weekend. I'm so glad you could be here. I'll see you next week or in between on Facebook, Instagram, and also on Pinterest. If you aren't, you can sign up for my newsletter so you can get up-to-date information. Again, in the bottom of the video, in the description box, there's a link to sign up for my newsletter. Have a great weekend, Lori. More Jeopardy? Okay. We will do more Jeopardy next time. Yes, every Friday at 7 p.m. Have a terrific week, Suzanne, everyone. Bye now. Love spending time with you.